Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachelle Glendon. It is lovely to have you here. So today's video is going to be the 5 most common questions I get asked when people find out I'm pregnant. So you can't tell because you can only see from my shoulders up, but I'm currently 18 weeks pregnant and I do have a bump, and I thought it would be really fun to just document the 5 questions that people most commonly ask me, because they are, like, most people ask the same sort of set of questions. Like, people are interested in knowing certain things, especially because this is my second pregnancy. Yeah, I just wanted to say that if it seems like it's dark, yes, that is a dark black window. It is 8 o'clock at night. I'm filming this. I've just put Max to bed and I thought I would take the opportunity. I wanted to film it all day, but I just didn't get a chance. We were just busy doing not much, but I didn't want to interrupt our not much time by going off to film a video. We have been out for dinner. Rolly played golf today at the end of year competition at his club, and Max and I drove down and had the Sunday roast dinner with him and everybody, and watched the presentations after the competition. So he came, I think he said he came like 16th or 18th overall out of a field of 116, so he's doing pretty well. He really likes his golf. So we had a nice time. So I'm a little bit, like, I did my hair sort of, I blow dried it, and I've got a little bit of tinted moisturizer on, so I'm feeling a bit glam, you know. So the first question that I get asked when people find out I'm pregnant or notice that I'm pregnant, and it's probably the question that everybody gets asked the most often, is, are you going to find out what you're having? And we are the kind of people that we can't not know, so we will definitely be finding out what we're having. We already do actually know what we're having, because on 18 weeks we found out, I think it was 14 weeks we found, yeah, so we've known for about a month, and we found out because I had to have the harmony test due to a higher risk nuchal scan, which the baby had a higher, like a little bit thicker neck fluid. So we did a harmony test, which tells you, checks the chromosomes, but it also means that you find out the sex early, which is awesome. And I'm only saying that that is awesome because it turns out that the actual harmony test showed that there were no birth defects. So that was a very big relief. So yes, we will be finding out, and we are very grateful for what we are having. We wouldn't mind if it was a boy or a girl. After our little scare, we felt that it doesn't matter as long as we have a healthy baby. That is the most important thing, whether it's a boy or a girl. It does not matter. But having said that, we aren't the kind of people that cannot not find out. We just need to know. Rolly can't handle surprises. I once tried to organise him a 30th birthday surprise party and he just couldn't cope with it. Anyway, so that is the most commonly asked question that everybody, whether it's your first pregnancy, your 5th pregnancy, or what, most people get asked that. Yeah, the second most common question I get asked is Max excited? Or does Max understand? That kind of thing. That sort of type of question. And he does understand, because I have quite a few friends who have had their second babies now, and he understands the concept of what a baby is and that you have to be gentle with them. He's very, very tender with the babies, and he does understand. Like, he pats my belly and says, "Mummy's got a baby in her belly." But I honestly don't think that he really, I mean, he's 2. He can't possibly grasp the concept that there's going to be a baby in our house and that there's actually a baby in my belly. Like, I mean, I find it hard to get my head around, like, and I can feel the baby kicking and everything. So yeah, but the answer is that I think he is excited in his own 2-year-old way. But yeah, it's funny that people ask you that. And similar question is, like, how do you think he will cope? And I honestly think that he will be fine. We'll obviously have transition period. We will all have a bit of an upheaval when the new baby arrives. Like, I'm going to go back into that whole newborn sleep deprived phase. Rolly is as well. He's going to have time off work. We're going to have 2 children. Rolly's going to have a lot more on his plate in terms of helping me look after Max and keeping Max busy and getting him, you know, exercised, taking him to the park and things like that. Especially because of question 3, which is, do you think you'll try for a natural birth this time? or are you going to have a cesarean, or that sort of like about the birth kind of questions. And when I had Max, I did the hypnobirthing training. I fully anticipated, I had a midwife, I fully anticipated to have a natural delivery in hospital with as little intervention as possible. And things didn't quite go to plan. Turns out that I'm not cut out for labour. I had a 30-hour labour, and then I had an issue with my uterus and a reaction to, lots of different things happened. I had a reaction to the drug that they give you to help you get, you know, bring things on, because I'd been in hospital for so long. And it meant that I had the opposite reaction, where my contractions, instead of getting stronger and moving things along, things went backwards. So we had to have what they classed as an emergency cesarean to get Max out. It wasn't an emergency in the fact of I or he was at any immediate risk, but it was, I mean, you know, like it wasn't like he wasn't breathing or they couldn't find his heartbeat anymore or anything like that. We were both very relaxed and quite comfortable, and in fact Max was the chilled little baby, and that's why they let me go on for 30 hours in labour. But long story short, I ended up having a cesarean, and if you've ever had a cesarean, you would know that it takes quite a while to recover. You know, I think the doctors, like, it can be up to 6 weeks before you get the all clear to drive. So obviously walking down to the park, walking down that hill with a newborn and things like that, we live on the top, like halfway up a hill, walking down there to take Max to the park is going to be a little bit challenging in the first month or so. So yeah, it's going to be a big weight on Rolly's shoulders to make sure Max is looked after in that sense. But yes, this time around we will probably be having an elective cesarean, just to avoid any of those complications and just make sure everything runs as smoothly as possible. The fourth most common question I get asked, and the reason that I'm making this video, or like, it's a bit tongue-in-cheek because I honestly don't mind, but it's funny because this time around I have, so the question number 4 is, are you sure it's not twins? And honestly, this is the question that I probably get asked first, because, and I think I understand why, because my belly is quite big this time around. Like, I caught up with a girlfriend who is 32 weeks about a week ago or late last week, and her belly and my belly are similar sizes. This is her second baby and it's my second baby. But what happened with Max was over 9 pounds, so he was quite a big baby, and I already had fairly weak tummy muscles, and I had a 4 centimeter ab separation above my belly button when I had Max. Like, so when I went to the physio to get checked over to get the all clear for exercise, she said, like, you've got a significant ab separation up the middle above your belly button. Most people get some sort of ab separation, but most people also only get 1 or 2 centimeters, and it's usually below the belly button, which is why a lot of people, like if you're a mum, you know what I mean, you get that kind of pouch, which I do have a little pouch, like a little overhangy bit, you know, like your belly goes like that. But for me, the main area that's weak is above my belly button, which is less common and harder to heal. Anyway, long story short, it is not twins. I just don't have very good ab strength, and my ab separation has already started to come back, even though I have been doing everything I can, all of the exercises and everything, and I did almost completely heal my ab separation with Max. I went back to the physio and she said it's only 1 centimeter, and 1 centimeter is considered normal. You know, like down the middle, like there is a little bit of a gap between your 2 sides of your ab. And yeah, so I got the all clear to like say that everything's fine, but yeah, I can already feel that it is starting to separate again. But also, I guess my body just knows what it's doing, and everybody says that your second baby, you do show sooner. With Max, I think I did gain quite a bit of weight in the first trimester, but I didn't really look pregnant or have a proper belly until around now, whereas now I look quite pregnant all the time. And I can totally understand why people ask me, if I'm sure it's not twins, because from about 8 weeks I had a belly, and even we had to go and I mean, like, not just like family and friends, but strangers ask me if I'm sure it's not twins. We had an election recently and we had to go and vote, and the lady who I gave my ID to get my voting form, she noticed, like, I was standing there with Max, and she noticed that I had a belly, and she said, oh, how far along are you, or when are you due? And I said, oh, I'm due in May. And she said, that's at least 5 months away. Are you sure is it twins or something like that? And she actually, that was her question, was if I was having twins. Like, okay, that's a little bit inappropriate, or a little bit like familiar to be asking me, but anyway, I just laughed it off, because I honestly don't mind. Like, I know my belly's quite big, but I don't feel self-conscious or like I'm huge or fat or anything like that. It's just, it's actually quite nice to have a belly earlier and feel pregnant for longer, because I do enjoy being pregnant. I do enjoy feeling pregnant and looking pregnant and wearing the nice, like you can see I'm wearing quite a nice figure hugging pregnancy maternity dress, and which sometimes I feel a little bit more confident wearing a figure hugging dress when I'm pregnant than when I'm not pregnant, if that makes sense. So I really don't mind, but anyway. Yeah, it's funny that that is the question that people ask me. So the 5th most common question I get asked when people find out I'm pregnant is, how are you feeling? And I think this is my absolute favorite question that people ask, because I think it shows real care and consideration for a person, not just me, but I think it's a really important question to ask of each other, and I think we should ask it of each other more often, not just when someone's pregnant. But I really love it, because obviously being pregnant, you're extra tired, especially having a toddler. People understand, and that's what I was saying at the start. Like, I think when it's your first pregnancy, often people just assume that you're just like excited and a bit bewildered and not really sure what to expect, but and yes, you might be tired or whatever, but like, people understand that, and that's not to take away from the fact that when you have your first pregnancy that you don't get tired, because you do. But I think people do understand that if you already have children and you're pregnant, it is a little bit harder, especially in the early days when you're very tired, you have morning sickness probably. Like, how do you cope when you're at home all day with a toddler that needs entertaining, and you just want to curl up in bed and spew? Like, one benefit of being a stay-at-home mum, I can actually have a nap with him, and that's actually quite nice. Even just having that little catch-up nap is a godsend, and that is something that I do appreciate about being a stay-at-home mum and already having kids, is that I'm not having to go to work and try and make it through the day without that opportunity to have a half an hour or an hour's nap, because yes, it is definitely something that is a lot harder when you're working. Those are my 5 most commonly asked questions. I would love to know, what are any other questions that you get asked if you're pregnant, or do you remember being asked when you were pregnant, or do you expect that people ask? Are there any questions that you find incredibly rude or incredibly nice or thoughtful? Kind of like when someone asks you if you're having twins. If I was a bit more self-conscious about my weight or appearance, I can understand how, you know, that could be quite upsetting. Yes, so anyway, yeah, I would love to know if there are any other questions that you think should go on this list of most commonly asked questions of a pregnant lady. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to click on this particular video and use your 10-minute coffee break to watch me babble on about nothing in particular. I hope you are really well. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks, bye.